Welcome back to Energyscapes, Ocean and Space. One of my latest recommended reads, that's probably a very good read, is called Haunebu, The Secret Files, The Greatest UFO Secret of All Time by David Childress. Now, he's written quite an extensive narrative on what happened during and after World War II with the supposed design and construction of German flying discs. And a lot of the information came from the Ralph Ettle document dump, which showed three types of craft or flying disc, including the cylinder-shaped Andromeda craft, which was the mothership, which could house some of the other flying discs or smaller discs, and go anywhere around the world at extreme velocity. And supposedly, if we have a look at some of the grey literature, and I picked up this one, printed online, about what Germany was up to, or the SS in particular were up to during World War II. We can see that, for example, there was a guy called, he was a Luftwaffe captain, Rudolf Schauberger, I think that's how you pronounce it, but apparently he said to the US that he could build one of these flying discs, and in that same grey literature document is quite a few old black and white photos of scientists and SS soldiers, high-ranking ones in former Nazi Germany, around some of these discs that they supposedly built and flew. And that's further backed up if we take a look, for example, at Viktor Schauberger and his story before, during, and after World War II. So he was the woodsman that invented a whole lot of contraptions that dealt with particularly log flumes and moving water, ionization, and extreme velocity. And he was approached by Himmler during World War II, which I've got here, the burial of living technology, to build one of these spinning flying discs, or go to prison for the rest of the war. And of course he didn't want to do that. And then the Americans picked him up after World War II, and of course he signed overalls and intellectual property rights, and no longer had access to his inventions, and went back to Europe, and was no longer involved, although his brother was. And that sort of corroborates some of the grey literature evidence about SS soldiers acquiring this technology. And whether they also had non-human help is also an issue, but I have some more cross-references there. We have other authors like Dr. Michael Seller, who talks about Antarctica's hidden history and talks about these discs and Andromeda craft and bases built during World War II and occupied well after World War II to supposedly carry on with some of these crafts and their designs. And David Childress, of course, wrote a second book that focused more on the cylinder-shaped Andromeda craft and the evidence for those, and there's a very interesting story there. And then David Childress has picked up on Antarctica and the secret space program, World War II to the current space race as well, and the origins of this technology, both from human ingenuity and engineering, and they're alluding to a non-human assistance as well. And if we go right back, all that evidence in these books sort of gives reference or corroborates probably the day after Roswell, or what happened at Roswell and the cover-up at Roswell that Captain Corso has written about as well, both in terms of this technology, it's perhaps non-human origin, but I'd also like to point out that there was quite a bit of human ingenuity during and after World War II involving these discs and their development as well. So we've got two situations going on. We've got the human development or design of these craft and their use, and then we've also got non-human assistance apparently to help this move along. So of course this technology is tied up in the military-industrial complex and may or may not be coming out depending on patenting, licensing, acceptance by the public, that there is this whole other timeline that's been going on for quite some time that is now time to share and all move forward together. And I'm sure if we all move forward together on it in some capacity, that we can quite significantly accelerate these programs in reaching the stars and the spread of humanity off planet. I'll leave it at there for now. There's so much to talk about with all this as we delve through the books, the documents, and all the papers, and people and personalities involved. And of course, there's no right or wrong here. There's lessons to be learnt, and seeking a way to move forward together, utilising all that's gone before. So I'll leave it at that for now and jump on the comments, and we'll talk again soon.